This thing's gonna train. What's he exiling? Gets the Angel of Glory's Rise in his graveyard. Ew. That's a little combo. Today on Commander Replay, we check out this Belbe Golem deck and try to drop some colossi on our opponents. Next on Commander Replay. Help support me and save 15% on singles by using the promo code REPLAY at mothershipaTX.com. Commander Replay t-shirts, available in orange and colors beside orange. Welcome back, everyone. Playing some Belbe Corrupted Observer Golems today. Take a look at this opener. I feel all right about this. We'll go ahead and keep. It's got a little bit of card draw in the Colossal Majesty and the Makokoro, and now some ramp with this Hedron Archive, so not too bad. Play the Windswept Teeth, crack the Windswept Teeth, we'll get something tapped. We'll get the Woodland Chasm, and we'll pass like that. So let's take a look at our commander. It's Belbe Corrupted Observer, 2 mana for a 2/2. At the beginning of each player's post-combat main phase, that player adds 2 colorless for each of your opponents who lost life this turn, as we see an Esper Sentinel coming into play. Interesting ability in that it affects your opponents also, and cares about basically putting mass life loss onto your opponents. Anything that's going to hit each opponent is going to be pretty valuable, like this Pulse Tracker, showing up right on time. How about that? I think that being the case, we go Bayou, Pulse Tracker, and then Belbe next turn, so that way Pulse Tracker can attack, and that way after that we should get a whole bunch of mana. I haven't seen this commander at all, so I'm not entirely sure what it's capable of, but it does make mana, and that seems cool. So Esper Sentinel going on the attack. I'm going to send it over to D-Manny. Opponent to get themselves a Hardened Scales. Here comes a Soul Guide Lantern into the Esper Sentinel, and they're going to pay. By the way, today's deck list comes to us from Patreon supporter Ryan, and I did have to make a number of changes to the deck. It wasn't quite game ready. Ooh, that's a Magus of the Wheel. Notably, it didn't have any green mana, so I had to take care of that and make sure that there was green mana in the deck. We'll take a peek at it in a second. Let's do the Pulse Tracker thing that we talked about. Attack with the Pulse Tracker, send it into Xeno. Oh, God. Oh, we forgot to cast our commander. Oh, I'm an idiot. Wow. Wow.
Stupid, stupid, stupid. And cruel. And very stupid.
I think you made your point.
That's not good. Well, that being the case, I guess we'll just hit. That was bad. Doing too many things at once. But we can still play this Makokoro and play a Kodama's Reach, and that's still a very good place to be, so not paying. Get a forest, get a swamp. Forest into play, swamp to hand, and we'll pass like that. Druid class for our opponent. Landfall gains a life. So anyway, yeah, this is a Golem tribal deck. We'll take a peek at the deck as we see a Keen Sense come onto the Esper Sentinel. That's going to be a lot of card draw. They're going to swing it over to Xeno. Sure. And we'll draw a card. So here's the deck list. I cleaned up a few things, especially around, there was a lot of 5 and 6 drops. Cut a couple of those, increased the land count a little bit. It was cheating on lands a little too much for a deck that has cards way up here at 9, 10, 11 mana. That's not a thing you want to be doing. Another thing I jammed in here, I never get to play green tribal decks. It's just not something that I've done in the past, I don't know, at least the past year, if not 2. Kindred Summons and Descendants Path are really cool tribal cards if you're playing a green tribal deck, and particularly if you're playing a tribal deck that isn't like elves or some crazy high power tribe. If you're trying to just do fun stuff, Kindred Summons is a really cool card. One that I don't get to run very often, but when I do, it can be real fun. Dropped an Agadeem's Awakening in here. Like I said, the deck was light on lands and just helpful card to have around late in the game. But early in the curve here, we see a lot of these vampire-type creatures that make everyone lose 1 life, which is pretty helpful with our commander. And also Loyal Subordinate, very underrated card. If you can just keep that in play for a couple turns with your commander, it's going to drop a lot of life off of your opponents. It'll get everyone into that 1-hit range for combat decks, which is a good place to be. If you can get someone down to about 20 and there's a combat deck at the table, they might look to take that person out. It's a lot harder if they're at 36 on turn 8. There's a Boros Garrison for opponent. Solemn Simulacrum is a cool card. Let's play the Swamp. Let's remember to cast our commander this time. Let's go to combat. We'll swing into KO this time. Each opponent's going to lose 1 life. And then we get the Belbe trigger. 6 colorless mana is pretty sweet. Let's get the Hedron Archive into the Esper Sentinel. They can have it. Solemn Simulacrum. Then I think at the end step we'll Makokoro and just try to draw into our next land. Use the Solemn Simulacrum ability. Let's get a forest. There is a lot of green in our hand at the moment. Yeah, we'll pass like that. That's a pretty good little turn right there. Yeah, making a bunch of extra mana. Pretty good. And hey, if you like the video, be sure to subscribe. We'll take a look at what our opponents are playing today. First up is Chaotix2075 piloting Uril the Miststalker, and he said it's lands Uril, which I'm very confused by, but we'll see what he's doing today. We do see this Druid class, which is a Lands Matters card. We do see a Keen Sense, which is something you would typically run in a Uril deck. So I don't know what he's got going on, but he's gaining life off of the Druid class, and now he can play additional lands, which also seems pretty good. 1-1 over to Xeno. Yep. Oh, no. We're not running snow mana. We have like 1 snow mana. Yep, he didn't set the land base in this deck. Farseek for opponent, and I don't really run Blood on the Snow ever. I'm not a big snowland guy. Mostly just out of laziness, but Farseek for KO. KO's ramping. More life. I'm not sure when it's going to happen, but D-Manny might hit the Magus of the Wheel, but he's got 7 cards in hand, so like, I assume he's just trying to get cards out of his hand before he does that, so we'll want to do the same. Biogenic Ooze coming in. Makes a 2/2 token. Yep. Opponent now has a blocker, which is unfortunate, but KO's still open for the Pulse Tracker attacks. The Ooze gets a counter on it. At the beginning of your end step, put a +1/+1 counter on each Ooze you control. Yeah, seems good. D-Manny's going to swing over to KO. Yep. He's going to get some mana. Oh, he gets 4 mana. Wow. Seems good. Keeper of the Accord also seems very good. Direfleet Daredevil. Ooh, on Kodama's reach. Wow, he's having a big turn. Goes for the Farseek instead. Weird. We'll Makokoro over right now just so we can F6. There's a Burnished Heart. More ramp. Cast the Farseek. Brings it back to our turn. There's a Golden Guardian. Nice. Yeah, let's just go straight to combat and get that mana going. We'll send 2 into KO just because we're not going to block with our commander, so. Pulse Tracker. Stings everyone again. They take the hits. There's the Belbe trigger. 6 more mana. So good. So good. What does this one do? Fight another target creature you control. When this dies, return it to the battlefield transformed. Interesting. Let's get the Burnished Heart in. Actually, what we can do, we can go, because I want to get, we need card draw. That's what we need. Get this Golden Guardian. I don't want to crack the Huge Archive just yet if we don't have to. Get the Colossal Majesty. We'll tap the Huge Archive right now and just use it for the Colossal Majesty. Into the Esper Sentinel. We can pay for that. And that leaves us the ability to sit on Heroic Intervention or crack Burnished Heart. Opponent gets 2 Keeper triggers. Yeah. We've been doing things. Terra Eternal. Nice. We gonna be seeing an Armageddon this game. Fencer's Mage Mark. Creature has 1/1 and first strike. We'll make it harder to pay for the Esper Sentinel now. No mana for KO. Keeper trigger. Yeah, Keeper's getting him caught up. It's 2 lands already. Keeper of the Accord is a really good and underrated card. Saw a lot of people kind of naysaying it when it came out, and like, if you gain 2 or 3 lands through your opponent's turns, what you can do on your turn changes dramatically. Like, D-Manny wasn't in a great spot at the beginning of last turn, and now he's basically on par with the rest of us. And he's given himself the opportunity to be able to have success in this game. And that's really what Keeper of the Accord is about. Vastwood Surge. Search for 2 basic lands. I think he's gonna get all, yeah. He's going to get all 3 land triggers from Keeper of the Accord. That is huge. That is such a big jump in mana. He's more than doubled his mana output over the last turn cycle. He started last turn with 4 mana, played a land, went to 5. And Keeper's triggered 3 times. He played a Farseek. He had the land per turn. Yeah. He has doubled up his mana production. That's insane. That's how good Keeper is. And sure, if you're ahead, it's not going to do all that. But at some point in a game, like if it just stays on the battlefield, an opponent may have more lands than you, the fact that it just continuously triggers does make it really nice. And at some point, like even if you're not getting the lands, getting bodies helps too. It's just a lot harder to attack into someone that's got a bunch of tokens running around. The tokens also good protection against stuff like Torment of Hailfire. If you have like 3 tokens around, you're essentially negating like 3 Torment triggers, and that's a great place to be also. There's a Soul Ring, so the mana production continues. There's a Volacode Exploration. There's card draw for him. Landfall. Has a Feldon under there. He'll probably want to get that in. These Oozes are also getting pretty big too. They are 6/6s. One thing we might want to think about is Heroic Intervention Blood on the Snow before he cracks this Magus of the Wheel. He hasn't cast his commander yet. This seems like a turn that may have been a good time for his commander. I'm not sure what he's got in his hand, though. Keeper on the attack. Over to KO. He's going to get a bunch of extra mana. We'll just... No, let's wait. He could have a board wipe. We may need Heroic Intervention if that's the case. Gets himself 2 colorless mana. Savior of Olenbach. Oh, yeah, that card's good. Card is very good. If you haven't seen it as training, when it trains, exile up to 1 target creature card from the battlefield or creature card from a graveyard. When it leaves the battlefield, put the exiled card onto the battlefield under their owner's control. Its best use case is getting your stuff back from the graveyard. But you can also use it as like a Fiend Hunter if you need to. There's that Felden we talked about. Okay, we're at the end step now. Crack this Burnish Tart. Swamp and a Forest. Brings it back to our turn. Colossal's Majesty is going to trigger. We'll draw an extra card. Oh, that's a Darksteel Colossus. Nice. It is a Golem. Play the Swamp. I think I'm going to do the Blood on the Snow Heroic Intervention thing. This seems like a good time for it. Because it might also force him to wheel. And, yeah, he might go for the wheel if we do that. So, let's Heroic Intervention. KO gets a draw card. Blood on the Snow. Destroy all creatures. Ooh, that's an Achroma's Will. Okay. Wasn't counting on that. That is still fine, though, because Achroma's Will is a card that can kill you, and if they have to use it defensively, then it's not killing you, and, you know, sure, we might get attacked by those things later on, but it's not as bad as, like, the entire team with flying and double strike. Yeah, we got some damage. We can do some attacking. This one into Xeno. Nope, keep that one back. That one's a blocker. That one into Xeno. This one into KO. Pulse Tracker. I unfortunately did not tap things the best here. We're not going to really be able to have a follow-up. Wasn't the best way to do that. I was kind of counting on him cracking the Magus right there. Yeah, I should have left the Hedron Archive up. We get a bunch of mana. We have 9 mana, and I think we have literally nothing to do with it. Yep. Definitely should have used our abilities better. Oops. Keeper of the Accord. Volakut Exploration. Exiles an Oketra's Monument. That's a good one to get rid of. Actually, does he have until his turn? KO gains a life. Oh, yeah, that lasts until his end step. Okay, he's going to get the Oketra's Monument. Okay. It's not ideal. Oketra's Monument is good. That's a Mirari's Wake. KO's got doubled mana. I don't think he played a land this turn, though. He has so many cards in hand. There's a Halvar. This is actually can be annoying for us because we have such big creatures that we're going to have, like, really good targets. Fungal Rebirth. Puts their Biogenic Ooze back to their hand. Recast their Biogenic Ooze. Seems good. They're going to exile the graveyards. Probably better now than with, like, this in our graveyard. Oketra's Monument. There's the Magus of the Wheel. Excellent. We do need a refill. And we get one. Fantastic. Good cards right here. Love it. I guess we have a little removal in this Meteor Golem. 2-1 over our way. Oh, this gives me an idea. We can get this thing flipped. This thing's going to train. What's he exiling? Gets the Angel of Glory's Rise in his graveyard. Ew. That's a little combo. Actually, block this thing and see if we can kill it. That'll bring the... What'll happen? That'll bring the Angel of Glory's Rise in, but the only value they get is getting this back. I mean, it kind of blanks the Angel of Glory's Rise, so I guess that's something. Sort of. I guess they could just exile it from the battlefield. Man, this card is ridiculous. Yeah, we need exile. Wish opponent held that Soul Guide Lantern. Well, yeah, I mean, I still think we need to do that because it at least slows it down a little, I guess. I don't know. Question is, should we trade in the Solemn Simulacrum? I like it as a blocker. Actually, I know what we're going to do. We're going to have it fight the Solemn. So there's now 2 damage marked on this, which means we can fight and then flip it. Here comes the Angel of Glory's Rise. Oh, man, with Felden too? Oh, God, that exile zombies. This thing is a zombie. Well, back to the command zone, I guess. I forgot that it does that. I guess we lose a card draw if we flip this thing over, but it does make 2 more mana. And that does seem very good. Also can make 4/4s. Mangara coming in, yep. Have this thing fight the Solemn. Solemn dies, we draw a card. Golden Guardian will return flipped. Use the ability. Rishkar's Expertise is a magic card. Ooh, we did get the Magus back, too. I didn't think about that. Horizon Stone is interesting. Let's recast our commander. Send in the Pulse Tracker. We're gonna lose it. Doesn't really matter where we send it. Stings everyone for 1. This thing with Cascade doesn't seem like the worst idea. I'm wondering, because I'm wondering if going for Blightsteel is like too aggressive of a play. Opponent blocks. Also, Blightsteel will like almost certainly get exiled by the thing. So yeah, maybe we do that. Goes to our main phase. We get some mana. There's 6 mana. Cast this Colossus. Yeah, we'll use this. Mangara, it cascades. Forsaken Monument is a legit card. Oh, man. Colorless creatures get +2/+2 whenever you tap a permanent. For colorless, add an additional. Whenever you cast a colorless spell, gain 2 life. Meh. The mana base isn't quite worked out to really take full advantage of the mana ability, but we can still do all right here. Yeah, cast the Rishgar's expertise. We draw a lot of things. We get Explosive Vegetation and get additional mana? That seems cool. That would put us up to 4 mana. What do we do with that 4 mana? Could ramp more, is what we could do. We could cast Boots, which isn't the worst idea, just to, like, keep our blocker alive, which we might need to do. Getting another blocker in wouldn't be the worst idea. Yeah, let's go for the vegetation. Forest and a swamp. Oh, wait. Oh, that's a tapped one. Crap, that's not Sky Shroud Claim. Whoops. That being the case, maybe we just sit on the Beast Within, because I think we're probably going to get blasted. I'm going to hold off on that Herbor because it slows the game down. Yeah, we'll sit on the Beast Within, play a Swamp, and then we'll go to the end step. 14 cards in hand. Volakut Exploration off the Keeper of the Accord trigger. And we have to discard a bunch. Discard Yawgmoth, fetch land. The Splight, that gives us Trample. Pilgrimage is worse than Cultivate. Yeah, we're going to get rid of this for now. And maybe we aren't. Question is, what are we going to do with this? Both modes are good. We do have this also. Ditch a land. We can get more lands. I don't actually know that we're going to be able to use this Horizon Stone all that well from where we are in the game. Oh, man, we got to keep going. 1 more to go. Oh, we're going to need that Duplicant. Duplicant's going to have to exile some part of that combo. So we definitely don't want to get... I guess... Oh, I really don't want to get rid of that thing. Yeah, let's just get rid of this thing. We have a very sculpt 7. KO's got 6 cards and double mana. Let's see what he can do. Starfield Mystic. Beastmaster's Mage Mark. Mangara triggers. It's got the aura on the Halvar. Seems good. Turns the Mirari's Wake into a creature. Is KO having the turn? What animated everything? Oh, yeah, there's a Starfield of Nyx right there. And there's Uril coming in. He's going to reconstruct history, getting Destiny Spinner and Primal Command. Those are legit cards. Non-creature. So, yeah, ideally we want to break up some part of that combo. Ooh, D-Manny's going to Felden Remorseful Cleric back to play, and then exile KO's Graveyard. Savage. This should foster some bad blood. KO's Graveyard gets exiled. That's a nasty little trick. KO said that Primal Command was to search up the whole reason for his deck, and he now can't do that. Halvar trigger. He gets 2 more mana. You know Iroas coming down could be kind of scary. Felden end step trigger. Evolution Sage. Can make his oozes bigger. This is Xeno, by the way, piloting Aeve Progenitor Ooze, one that we've seen on the channel a little bit. It's a pretty cool commander. Has Storm, makes a bunch of copies of itself, and oozes get big, is basically the story of this deck. And then over here we've got D-Manny piloting Iroas God of Victory. He said it's basically humans with a little bit of Reanimator, and he's living up to that billing because he's got a mess of a board state. You can't deal with his board state because everything keeps coming back. Gonna need some exile. We have a little bit right here, but still, it's gonna be dicey. Kind of hoping he doesn't attack us. I think we're actually the least threatening with just our 9/9, right? This stuff's all scary, but the other issue too is that we're also the most profitable attack, I would assume. Especially once Iroas comes down. Although once Iroas comes down, you can kind of just force it because you won't lose anything. So it kind of depends on do you just take the easy kill, or with Iroas you can force opponent into some blocks and try to get a few of their things off the board, which I generally find to be valuable. Oh hey, our lands still say indestructible. Oh right, that's Terra Eternal. Terra Eternal makes all lands indestructible. Volakut, Mentor of the Meek. Yep, more advantage. You know what we don't want? We actually don't want that Magus of the Wheel to go off. Another landfall. Adeline. That's a good one. We will probably see that one. We're going to need another board wipe. There's a few in the deck, but wouldn't say there's tons and tons. Mentor of the Meek. Adeline. Token. Mentor of the Meek. It's an 11/4. 12/4 now. That's very large. What's this one? Target creature gets 1/0 and haste. That's interesting. That card's probably better than you think it is. 1-0 in haste. Giving your stuff haste is really powerful. Who was it? Was it Green Surak, I think? Just being a 4-mana commander that gives your things haste. It's pretty good. Yep, there's Iroas. Another token. Where does he want to send it? Arcane Signet, Halvar, and Reckless Storm. The big one our way, of course. Training. On the Angel of Glory's Rise. That's not the best. How's this work? Can we... Oh, we can O-ring this. Yeah, O-ring time. Yeah, we'll shoot the Savior of Olembach. Oh, he's got a Boros Charm, really. Mentor of the Meek. Yeah, well, we can't take this shot for 20, so we're gonna have to block. We lose our stuff. KO gets a Starfield trigger. Ancient Stone Idol's interesting. That'll be handy next turn. Well, kind of. The problem is that he still just has a million creatures, but... yeah, I mean, Blightsteel Colossus and Swing, I think, is all we can do. Hope our opponents find a way to close it. We gain 2 life. Our opponents appear to be completely tapped out, so that's good. This should go through. Mangara Forsaken. Like, I know this probably isn't going to do it. I have a feeling that we attack and then we just get killed, but we just get killed anyway if we don't do anything, so just going to have to hope that our opponents do something that helps us out. Opponent does have 1 mana up. Boots. Hope no swords. No swords. Excellent. Go to combat. Halvar. Swing this into D-Manny. See how he wants to block. He could just trade in Iroas, and that would keep him off of lethal. You'd have to at least recast Iroas, but he has a lot of mana, so it's not that big of a deal. Yeah, there's Iroas. There's a token. Another token. Another token. Yeah, this is kind of the goal. Try to clean him out as much as we can. Oh, he's really throwing a bunch in front of there. He's going to leave the door open for KO and Xeno. Yeah, we eat a lot of stuff. We'll cultivate, and then just hope to survive. Swamp. Forest. Pass like that. Keeper of the Accord. Oh, he blocked it all because of the proliferation on Evolution Sage. Starfield gonna get Druid class back. There's a Zendikar Resurgent. Tripled mana. Only 2 cards left. Levels up the Druid class. Levels it up again. What's the third mode? Target land becomes a creature with haste, power toughness equal to the number of lands you control. It's still a land. Interesting. Puts it on a Maria. Season of Growth. Proliferate. Aeve coming into play. Storm count as 1. Halvar. Opponent sending a big one our way. Yep. Volakut. Blade Historian. Oh yeah, he's going to be able to kill a few people. Definitely us. Iroas coming back. Everything our way. Yeah, Adeline is crazy in Go Wide decks. Although, unless he's got a board wipe, he's actually exposed on the backswing from the other 2. I think this is actually a great example of modern Commander versus old Commander. Old Commander was all about creatures like Blightsteel Colossus, these big things that could trample their way through. Also the legendary Eldrazi, same sort of idea. But like, these things are very difficult to get into play. And when you do get them in play, they're giant targets because yes, they can still kill you very easily. But they're going to be removal magnets, where now you look at like the new school of cards. This is a 3 mana card that they cost reduced down to 1, and it has 18 power, right? So it's a much different world now where these smaller cards scale up into something big and threatening and lethal, versus having to spend 12 mana for a Blightsteel Colossus and trying to swing your way through with that. And there's a few things that happen in this game. It's really the issue of like protection is a little bit too strong now, I think. For a long time, board wipes were too strong and you could just wipe the board endlessly. Now with all the protection spells, it's gotten kind of weird because the main issue is that he survived that Wrath that we played. If that was a Toxic Deluge or something like that, all of his stuff would have died. I suppose our stuff would have died too, but we would have gotten his stuff off the board. And he just never lost pace at any point because of that, right? Like, at least if he loses some tempo and having to recast stuff, life is good. I mean, I guess he's also got this Angel of Glory's Rise combo going, which is obviously very strong. But, yep, everything's back. He lost very little in that exchange. But yeah, especially after talking to like Mono White Border, who hates Teferi's protection, which seems ironic. But he's more of a budget player, and Teferi's has always been kind of an expensive card. He said to me that he's never not lost to a Teferi's protection. Every time it shows up, he loses the game because it always just leads to blowouts. And yes, Teferi's protection is insanely strong. But even still, Chroma's Will is also insanely strong. Or just having the right protection piece when you need it. He also fired off a Boros Charm in there, which allowed this combo to keep going. If that didn't happen, his Angel would have gotten exiled, and it would break up this combo. And he wouldn't be able to board wipe and then just get all of his stuff back immediately, if that were the case. So yeah, like, you know, as much as I'm a white player and I love protection spells, at some point they do cause problems in the game too, because just like anything in the game that you can't interact with, not being able to interact with your opponent's creatures isn't the best time, right? And it's always that same feeling. Once you can't interact with something, you're just like, oh, this feels terrible. But on the other hand, like, you need to run protection spells because people will try to blow your stuff up, and when that happens, you got to keep your stuff alive. So it's this weird, like, give and take, chicken and the egg kind of thing. If people didn't run as much removal, you wouldn't need to run as much protection, but because they do, you do have to run a lot of protection. But then it blanks the protection, and it's not that good. So then you need to run even more better removal, and it is a vicious cycle. And both opponents scoop, yeah, he's just got... You can't interact with his board state. That's the place that he's gotten to, and that's kind of what I was talking about, is that once you reach that place that you can't interact with your opponents anymore, it is actually... It's not a great time, and it does lead to a little bit of feel-bads. That being said, I do have plans where I do want to mess around with a deck like that, where it's just like reanimation and protection, and just like my stuff stays in play no matter what. I've seen Sean do that a little bit with some of his white decks. He'll have like multiple layers of protection, and I want to get something like that going at some point. But, you know, it's not the best time, right? Like, I would call this a reasonably chill deck. I mean, on the rare off chance that you might go like Blightsteel Colossus into someone very early, maybe isn't the best. But, you know, if you're playing a deck that's kind of chill, whatever opponents are doing when they get to that place where you can't interact with them, you're just like, well, this kind of sucks. Anyway, as far as this deck, it was actually pretty cool. I thought Belbe's ability was pretty sweet. I did change a few cards in here. I might change them back. You guys will be able to see the original deck list in the link below. I thought it was a little heavy on 6 drops. There was like a Staff of Nin, which is like, Staff of Nin's cool, and I get why it's in there because you get the 6 mana really easily, but like, it's not particularly great damage nor particularly good card draw, so it's like, meh. I don't know. Could take it or leave it on that one. I'd rather have something down here that, you know, just Nissa's Pilgrimage, basically, make me perfectly happy. But the premise of the deck is cool. The little pulse tracker type effects are super sweet and do give you lots of mana. If you did something like a little more powerful and not golems, you'd be able to get to some really big stuff very quickly. Like, you could essentially go, like turn 1 pulse tracker, turn 2 Belbe. On turn 3, once you have mana, or once you have colored mana up, you could pulse tracker and then like cast a Shieldred or something like that. Or some other big nasty thing of Vorinclex, potentially, right? If you wanted to get really nasty about it. So yeah, making mana in the command zone is very strong. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. As always, feel free to comment, like, or subscribe. Thank you for watching. I want to thank my awesome Patreon supporters. You guys are awesome. If you want to help support the channel and vote on which decks I play next, or if you want to get some good games of Spell Table, be sure to check out my Patreon at the link below.